Today on Roundtable, we have Representative David Gomberg, Commissioner Kula. We've got Takesha Wydrow from West Valley, or Sheridan Revitalization Committee. We'll just go with that one. We have Al Bannan on behalf of Congresswoman Bonamici. We have Gioia Goodrum from McMinnville Chamber of Commerce. And thank you all for joining me on Election Day. A lot has happened in the last week, including that we have new loosened up or more liberal metrics for school reopening for in-person classes, which is one that I think in our county and other counties people are still trying to figure out. But I would love to begin with Representative Gomberg. What would you like to tell people in your district specifically, but also across Yamhill County?
Well, it's a rainy election day in Oregon. And I would say, please, if you have not yet voted, to take a couple of minutes, fill out your ballots, and drive them in and drop them off. Putting them in the mail won't do you any good right now. It is remarkable to me that the number of people who have voted in this election cycle. I heard earlier today that we are approaching a record that we set in 2008. And what is really remarkable about that is that in 2008, we did not have the motor voter program in place, which of course registers people to vote if they have a driver's license and are a U.S. citizen, meaning that there's a lot more people registered to vote, some of whom haven't thought about voting before. And so if our numbers are up to the same kind of percentages when we had a more proactive registration process, that's very telling. So yeah, the election process is underway, and anybody who's listening in and is interested in the results, I'm sure you can get Yamhill County results from the Yamhill County web pages, or you can go to the Secretary of State's site this evening right after polls close at 8 p.m. and they will be posting results for statewide contests, for legislative contests, and for local races. So there's a lot of good information there. I wanted to share with you that I just got notice that we will be having, oh, wait for it, yes, another emergency board meeting on Monday. I've lost count of exactly how many we have had, but I am told that we are going to be taking another look at the Turnkey Project, which is the program designed to turn distressed hotels into shelters for people that are homeless for a variety of reasons, whether it be COVID or lack of employment, or they are victims of our wildfires. A little more detail is at the last meeting we approved the wildfire program, but not the general homeless program, and so that is coming back for a vote. But I'm waiting for details. I don't expect to see the agenda until late this week, but I'm told that a focus will be the dollars that are remaining in the allocation we received from the federal government, and to make sure that we spend all of those dollars before the year-end deadline, because if we don't spend them by the year-end, we have to give them back, and nobody wants to do that. I'm told that there are programs on the list for small businesses, for daycare, and I'm suggesting a couple of other things. I'd like to get some help for our restaurants who are struggling now with rules that keep them from operating at a break-even point in many cases. And with the weather turning, of course, those restaurants that have been more creative in using outdoor spaces will not have that as available to them. Another suggestion that I made, and I'm not sure it's going to go very far, but it has to do with the fact that we continue to extend the prohibition on evictions. And we've got a lot of people that aren't paying rent. I'm seeing remarkable statistics, dire statistics, that as many as 30% of renting Oregonians are behind on their rent, but they cannot be evicted. We have programs in place to help those people get money, and that money would then go directly to their landlords, but we're finding not a lot of people are pursuing all of that paperwork when there's no consequence for not doing anything. And I'd like to see that program restructured a little bit so landlords can make the application, satisfy the criteria, and receive the dollars, rather than being in a position to urge their tenants to do the same thing. Again, I'm not real optimistic about that, but I'm going to press for it. And then finally, I'm continuing to do some work on the tax consequences of natural disasters, whether it be wildfires now or a tsunami and earthquake later. I don't want to see people having to look at increased taxes when they go through the awkward steps of replacing their homes. That may come up later this month. There are persistent rumors that we may have a special legislative session before Thanksgiving. So there's a lot of information in 5 minutes. I'll pause at this point, see if anybody has any questions, or we can move along, Commissioner.
Thank you, Representative Gomberg. Are there questions for Representative Gomberg or comments since he's going to be at Emergency Board? Well, I really appreciate hearing the creativity that you are trying to bring to both the special session and the Emergency Board. So thank you. All right. Well, I will move on to Commissioner Mary Starrett has joined us by phone. So welcome, Commissioner. What would you like to tell people today? And can you hear us? Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner. A couple of things. I don't know if folks are aware of the areas that are eligible for rural digital, federal rural digital broadband help. There, apparently in Yamhill County, there are about 82,000 locations that would be considered eligible. So I've got some emails out to find out a little bit more about it. It's the Rural Digital Opportunity Fund Phase 1, and there's about $16 million to areas that have absolutely no internet. So they've got a state-by-state breakdown of who is eligible for this, and they're going to be prioritizing some of these bids. So hopefully we'll be able to look at the 82,000 locations in Yamhill County that might be eligible for that. And the other thing is checking in with our Health and Human Services Director, Dr. Lindsay Manfred, asked her specifically about some of the planning to bring back the younger ages, because that's all we're eligible for right now since the new school metrics went into effect on Friday or Monday. And she says that there's only one school right now, so they're working on that, and they'll continue to have meetings, regular meetings with the schools, so that they'll be able to keep track of whether or not what they've got in play will get them up and going.
Great, thank you very much, Commissioner. Are there questions for Commissioner Starrett? Before Commissioner Starrett joined us, I was telling a story about seeing Commissioner Starrett early this morning in the middle of the street. So I want to, on the record of thank you so much for your kindness and for just being a great colleague. Thanks.
Well, thank you for that, Commissioner. But there were a couple of questions I had after our meeting, and that was if I had shown up just a couple of seconds earlier and I was not paying attention, as sometimes I'm not, chances are I would have rear-ended you. So there was that piece. So I was grateful that didn't happen, because no one would believe the narrative that it was an accident. And second of all, you didn't probably tell people that you declined my offer to push you across the intersection.
I did. I think I told people that, but I also told them that there was the guy on the street who'd already offered. So, and the guy on the street, some of you know, Rick Page, who's the head of the Yamhill Cultural Coalition. So, small town. But thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Al, what would you like to tell people today? Is there anything new from the Congresswoman? There's a lot of things that could be.
Yeah, no updates yet. The Congresswoman continues to urge her colleagues in the Senate to pass a COVID relief bill, specifically the updated HEROES Act. We obviously know that that's not happening before Election Day. And to be quite frank, I think conversations right now are just stalled, waiting to get through this week and the next week or so. And then hopefully we have more information. So I'm just here really today to listen to the folks on the call and provide an update to the Congresswoman about all the things going on in Yamhill County. And Representative Gomberg, I did have a question actually about the turnkey program. Is that something that there will be shelter in Yamhill County for those? Because my understanding was that it was just about wildfires, but it sounds like it's wildfire and COVID relief. Is that right?
It's a little complicated, but the short answer is there were two proposals.
Okay.
The first proposal was for wildfire, and that has been approved. The second proposal was for other counties outside of the 5 that were named for wildfire. And that is the one that's going to be back on the agenda, excuse me, for Monday.
Okay.
If that's approved, then it would be up to your county commissioners whether they want to pursue those opportunities.
Great, that's clear.
Through the Oregon Community Foundation, correct? Yeah.
Great, thank you. And that's it for me. Happy to take any questions, but really just here to hear from folks today.
And show the baby, as it were.
Yeah, he did roll over right before. I was actually late to the meeting because I was clicking into the link and he rolled over. So I went over to see him, and then I got your link that said that the link expired. So I was like, oh, good.
It's perfect. Serendipity.
Yeah, exactly.
It's good to have time for the baby.
Yes.
Yes. Are there questions or comments for Al? Is there anything you really want her, that you really want Congresswoman Bonamici to know about? All right. Thank you. And we look forward to seeing whether we can get some more movement on a stimulus bill for things like chambers of commerce.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you very much. I am going to move on to Gioia Goodrum from the McMinnville Chamber of Commerce. What would you like to tell people today? Hello. But you need to unmute yourself. We got that on our bingo card.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Thank you. Appreciate being here today. Tomorrow, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce is having a webinar on post-election. And we keep reminding people to stay calm and patient during this time. We could be waiting a while before we have all the results in. So we want to remind people that it could take some time before we have all the answers. So we're just reminding folks that. It is National Veterans Small Business Owner Week. And so we want to remind people to support our small businesses, especially if they are veterans, but also just support our small businesses by shopping local. And I also want to talk briefly, because I don't see that Abisha is here. The 13th, or is it the 11th, is the last day to apply for Yamhill County funding if you're a business or a not-for-profit like a Chamber of Commerce. And thank you, by the way, to the commissioners for doing that. We so appreciate it. I am in the process of completing my application and we'll be submitting that. So I highly recommend, if you have any questions, you can always call us here at the Chamber and we can help direct you to where you need to go to get that information. And that is all I have for today. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Are there questions for Gioia? All right, and I believe that Abisha is working on some grant application and then she's taking time off. I know, right? All right, well, I'll move on to Keisha. Keisha, what would you like to share with people in the West Valley and Sheridan?
I shared the link, I believe, about the grant opportunities that's on the Chamber Facebook page, and I also believe I emailed that around. This Thursday is the next revitalization meeting, and we are doing that virtually, so we hope to get a nice attendance on that, and that is posted up on the Sheridan Revitalization Facebook page, and also I sent an email around, but anyone can email revitalizesheridan@gmail.com and I can get them added to that list. And hopefully we will have finalized plans for lighting the bridge. That's pretty much it for me.
All right, well, thank you for your work in Sheridan and for keeping us updated there. And we have time for you to go back out into the communities. I want to remind, just as Representative Gomberg said, remember to vote your ballot, take it to a drop box. And we have, I think, 15 in Yamhill County. So we're flush with drop boxes. Remember, by 8 p.m. In terms of coronavirus in the county, the number of cases that haven't been linked to a known positive case has gone back up to about 50% of new cases. So that is a concerning thing from a public health perspective. Oddly enough, though, it still makes us, with the number of cases, bless you, the number of cases we've had in the last 2 weeks, We need the new metrics for reopening for K through 3, as Commissioner Starrett pointed out. And so we'll see which schools choose to do that soon and which choose to wait a little while for it. But as Commissioner Starrett keeps a close watch on this, hospitalizations remain fairly constant as people leave and then people replace them. But these are families and these are people who still, I think, need our thoughts and our attentions. This is a hard one. And it turns out that as we learn more about coronavirus, we learn that there are things that we never imagined, like long-lasting heart injuries. So to all the people out there who are still struggling, months after their case, my heart goes out to you. Remember to vote. And unless there are any further comments, we'll see you next Tuesday. Anything else? Okay, thank you for joining us here today, and be safe out there.